Hello guys, welcome back to our channel, the Canadian Punjabi Couple. Thank you so much for your likes and your comments in my previous video, which was about my trip from Delhi, India to Toronto, Canada under the Vande Bharat mission, a joint initiative by Air India and the Indian government. Now in today's video, I'll be sharing some tips that I took care of, which was regarding some luggage restrictions or how the steps that I took in the flight helped me so that my trip was comfortable. So without wasting more time, I'll be straight down getting to the points, and hopefully these points will also be helpful for you. Now, the most important step that you need to be very careful of is to check the MHA guidelines, which will be on Air India's website, so that you're aware about the rules and regulations. Now, I will also post the link in the video description below, so just make sure that you go through these web links so that you have all the information that I'll be just talking about in the next couple of minutes. Now, the most important steps to consider. Number one, if you have not confirmed your seat number, then I definitely recommend that you do that. You will probably have to pay extra money for that, which you can do it from manage your booking on the Air India's website, or maybe you can also download the Air India app and do that. But if you're not really bothered about where you sit in the flight, you don't need to worry about this step. So we will just straight off move on to the next step. After your PNR number and your e-ticket number, the most important thing I would definitely recommend is at least log into your profile so that you can put in all your passport details, like your name as per your passport number, and also you can choose your meal preference. Now all the meals would already be prepared and pre-packaged and kept on your seat, like I had told in my previous video. So at least in this step, when you log into your profile with Air India website, you can make choices of what kind of meals you prefer. Asian vegetarian or Jan vegetarian, or maybe Asian non-vegetarian, so these kind of options. So for that, you will probably already have your PNR number or at least e-ticket number if you have received your confirmed email with the ticket. And along with this, what you will need is 2 self-declaration forms. The link for that PDF document is also below, where you can download these forms and take printouts. And also you will fill in another form, which is from the Air India. It is called Indemnity, Quarantine Cost and Deportation Charges form. Now this form is for the purpose of your undertaking that you do understand all the rules and regulations. Remember, I talked about the MHA guidelines. This is where this rules comes in for. Now, only as of date, the Canadian residents, Canadian citizens, and people who had received their work permit or COPR documents before or till March 18, 2020, you are also eligible to travel in this flight. So you need to make sure that you understand these rules and regulations. Very, very important. Don't get stuck at the airport. Okay, so again, you have to fill in 3 forms. 2 forms would be self-declaration form, and the third form is indemnity, quarantine cost and deportation charges form. Now links for these forms are also in the video description below. So now the second step, which is about luggage restrictions in economy class. Because I traveled economy in Air India flight, so I'll be just sticking to the economy class restrictions. So for myself, I had a laptop bag, a cabin bag, and 2 check-in luggage. So my laptop bag, I strictly carried only my laptop, my iPod, my phone was also in my bag, phone chargers, laptop chargers, and my drone charger. In my carry-on baggage, which was the cabin luggage, I just had only my drone, but lots of snacks. You are allowed to take snacks and food. And I flew about 3 weeks ago, so I had a lot of snacks in my cabin suitcase. The weight was around 7 kg, so stick to that. Do not overweigh your suitcase because they might say something, but I did not have any issues with my luggage. My laptop bag was probably around 4.5 or 5 kilo. Cabin bag was around 7 kg. Now talking about the check-in baggage, I had 2 suitcases, both were 23 kg each. So of course, I don't think that they were troubling around at that time other people, so you might get lucky if you have a little bit extra. But what I exactly mean is that if the allowable amount is 23 kg, don't make it 25, 26 kg per suitcase, because then probably you will have to pay more. I also had a 2-liter water bottle from my side, which of course the security check-in guards allowed to take inside. But of course, everything was scanned in the X-ray machine. I had to take out my laptop, my drone, the batteries, the chargers, everything. Just make sure that you don't put your passport and your boarding pass in the tray. One tip on that, if you have a small pouch and or maybe a small waste bag, or maybe like a Ziploc bag, a plastic polythene bag, keep your passport, your wallet, and your boarding pass in that, in case they ask you to pass it through the security check-in. Now this is because you will not keep these directly on the tubs, so of course you don't get any kind of bacteria or anything. I use the pouch, and it's shown in the image as well, as you can see. So I kept my passport, my boarding pass, my phone, and some change in that pouch. So now another question that one of the viewer had asked about social distancing on flight. Now the flights are all going in full. Air India flights are really full right now, so you cannot expect a vacant seat. There are no empty seats. My flight was full. The good part about this is that the plane was in the 333 configuration, not the regular 343, so there was a little bit extra space. But of course, like I told in my previous video, that you have to wear your face shield and face mask at all times, so there was no issue for that. Now in the washrooms, they also kept hand sanitizers that you could spray, so I definitely use these on the taps or even on the seat when I had to use the toilet. So of course there are precautions taken by the Air India crew members as well, and these washrooms were cleaned quite frequently. I had no complaints about the cleanliness of the washroom or on hygiene level. It was all clean. They had a lot of stock for the toilet rolls or paper napkins, so the whole toilets were like pretty much stocked up, and only one person is allowed to wait outside the washroom. You cannot queue up over there as you would normally do in a regular flight, but in this, only one person per washroom was allowed to stay outside to wait for their turn. Now of course I would recommend not to use the tap water to brush your teeth. I did not do that, so I would recommend to get some strong mints or menthol candies or maybe chewing gums. And then after that, after getting back to my seat, I again used hand sanitizers. So now in this part of the video, I'll be talking about the steps you need to consider when you have landed in Canada. The first most important point, do not get off your seats. You have to stay on your seats when you have landed. The air crew members will be announcing this again and again, that you have to stay on your seat. So don't worry about your cabin shelf luggage, everything is pretty much safe. You have to wait for your turn because they will be announcing what row would be exiting the plane first. This is to avoid crowding on the aisles in the plane, so stay seated, please. Now, the second step I would recommend is that you'll be getting 2 forms also in the flight before your landing, so keep your passport. The 2 forms, one would be your immigration declaration card, and the second one would be a health form, a contact information form for the Canadian immigration. So these 2 forms, you have to fill in all the details. You have to keep your PR card and work permit also, if you are on work permit returning to Canada. And the immigration declaration form and the traveler contact information form, they need to have the address which is your final destination. Do not put a temporary address. If you are a COPR person coming to Canada for the first time and you have a booking for Airbnb or a hotel, then you have to put the address for that hotel or the Airbnb where you will be staying of your final destination. You might be having an onward journey to Calgary, Vancouver, or another city, so make sure you do not put a Toronto address, and you put your final destination address where you will be going further. Now the reason to keep your passport, your PR card, your work permit and the forms handy when you are exiting the plane is because the CBSA officers will be just waiting close to the gate. You have to show them the details when they ask you a few questions. Questions could be just basic ones, so you don't need to really worry about really anything, or don't get panicked. Just answer their questions with full honesty. So this is your traveler contact information form. In this form, you have to fill in your details as per your passport and as per your trip. So make sure you put in the correct information. The address that you will put in would be of your final destination, the place you will be doing your self-quarantine. This is the Canadian Declaration Immigration Form. So again, fill in the details as per your passport and as per your trip. Make sure that you're not putting in wrong information. Don't forget to put in your signatures. And then the next step would be that you move to your immigration border clearance. Now, the most important point in the immigration border clearance is you have to make sure that which side you are going in, because of course the COPR people and the PRs and the Canadian citizens would have a different side, and the people who are coming on work permit, you have to go onto the opposite side. If by chance you don't find any side, just wait for the instructions, because the immigration people would also be there on the floor to direct you to which side of the queue to go at. I am a Canadian resident, so of course I was directed to go onto the left side as soon as I entered the doors of the immigration clearance. A quick tip: definitely download the ArriveCan app on your iPhones or your Android mobile phones. This app will actually ask you about your basic details, your name, information as per your passport, as well as your trip details. Now, internet would be free at the Canadian airports, but if you want to download this app from your app stores before your trip, I would definitely recommend that. This will help you to reduce your wait time during the immigration lineup. If you're not able to use this, don't worry, you can still manually proceed as per the CBSA officer's instructions. When you will exit the plane, you will also get this flyer from one of the CBSA officers who will check your details. So this flyer contains information about self-quarantine and why your personal information is being collected and what kind of precautions you need to take. Now, again, you will be having your documents handy already. So just follow the steps given to you by the CBSA officer on the floor, and your experience would be very easy. Now, talking about the questions that the CBSA officers might ask. It could be pretty random, so I'm just going to list out the questions that I was asked and the answers that I gave. So I was asked, where are you coming from and what was the purpose to travel outside Canada? I told them that I had come from India and I had gone there to visit my parents and see them for vacation. The next question they asked me was, when did I leave Canada? And I just gave them the date of my departure. And they also asked me about my health, how I was feeling, if I had gone sick in between, or maybe if I was not feeling well. Then I just answered the questions with honesty that I was absolutely fine. I did not get sick at all, which was true. And of course, they then asked me another question, that the address on my declaration card and the information form, is that the address where I'm staying at? So I told them that yes, I'm renting that place and I'm going back home there to be with my family. And their last question was if there are any elders or any kind of young kids who are below 10 staying in that household. So again, I told them that it's my rented place and it's just me and my wife staying in that rented accommodation. So we don't have any vulnerable elders or kids staying in the same household. And that's it. I was literally free within less than 5 minutes, I guess, because my answers were pretty brief. Even though I've given you some extra details here, I just answered them to the point, and then they just told me to go to collect my baggage. Now I will be talking about the baggage collection very briefly. So of course, after your immigration clearance, you will be heading towards the baggage collection belts. So just a tip on this spot: put identification tags like a neon belt or maybe colorful belts, red belts, or maybe just your name tags, so that you can easily recognize your suitcases or the baggage. The other reason why I'm telling you this is because of course the staff members will start putting in the luggage on the floor. So by chance, if you are stuck in the immigration line, you're waiting for your clearance, and by that time the baggage has already started coming on the belt, the staff members will start putting the luggage on the floor on either sides of the belt so that the belt doesn't get congested. So you have to be very careful on to checking your luggage on the belt as well as on the floor. The identification tags will help you to get your luggage very quickly. And of course, even for the travelers who are having onwards journey towards the domestic travel, maybe Air Canada, maybe WestJet, so the process will almost be the same. It's just that after collecting your baggage, you will have to go to the departure terminal again, to the airline counter, check in your baggage again. I hope you have already paid extra money for that, or if you have to, just be prepared with that Canadian Visa card or a debit card. They will charge you accordingly as per your travel leg, and then they will book your luggage again for your onwards journey to your domestic travel. So I hope all these tips would be very helpful for you. If I have missed out on anything, please do ask me in the comment section. Put some feedback. If you've liked my video, do give it a like, do subscribe, and do share it as well, so that we can keep on making these kind of videos, which will be helpful for you, not only just in this topic, but in a lot of other topics which could be of your daily life. So once again, travel safe, stay safe, keep your face shields or face masks on, keep a lot of hand sanitizers, and see you soon in Canada. And definitely don't forget to like, subscribe, share, and hit the bell button so that you can get notifications of our next video.